And welcome back to another edition of Running with James. My name is James, and we've got Coach Lauren over here.
Coach Carlos.
I was trying to think of something. No, I was trying to think of something awesome.
There's
like
nothing
pithy to say.
There's nothing.
My
awesome
brain just
to
stopped
say.
working. So, because that workout, and then Carlos is over here. He's not getting a good one either.
I feel you. I
didn't even call him Coach Carlos. You hear that?
Yeah, dude.
No, he's just Carlos.
After the last week, I mean, you really pumped me up, and I was like, this week, there's that guy.
Just bring you right back down.
There's that other guy in the corner.
Yeah,
Just,
this dude.
but I'm here.
Yep.
Kind of.
Yep. I'm just tired. That's all. I'm tired. This has been a tiring week for some reason. Well, I know why, but it's been like a combination of stuff. I've been so busy, dude. I counted how many appointments. Today is Thursday. I've done 17 appointments this week.
Oof.
And that's not counting the 15 classes I've taught.
Dang.
And it's Thursday. I have still have an appointment tonight, or 2 appointments today. And then I have 6 tomorrow.
Oof.
It's just that, I guess, I don't know. We've gotten several. I've got some new people. And then it's that time, right? We're right before HYROX.
We squeezing it
Just
in.
finished half marathons, 10Ks. The marathon's coming up. So it's like they all conglomerated at one time. And then I still got people like, hey, you got time to meet with me? I'm like, I ain't got no time for you. You should have called me last week. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I can't help you.
Yeah, get them early.
Yeah.
I know that. Yeah. Nope.
Yeah. Those meetings they're few and far between. You got to get those open spots when you can get them. People asking me about Sundays. I'm like, Sunday? Y'all, I mean, can I sleep?
Yes.
Do I get a break? They're like, nah, coach, we need these gains. So it's a good problem to have, honestly. It's a very good problem to have.
Blessed.
Blessed. That's right. Why am my stuff falling down over here? What's that about? So, anyway, how you feeling, Lauren? Sorry. How you feeling, Carlos?
I'm feeling great. We crushed another workout.
Yeah, you smashed that today, bro.
It was, I think it's kind of leaning towards maybe because of the weights. I'm trying to push, but it's just, I'm having to actually, I'm gassing out a little bit. So it's, becoming more, I don't know if anaerobic, but it's just kind of.
Well, it's kind of the goal for that particular one.
That's what I mean. I don't know if I'm pushing as hard. It's just kind of maintaining that sled. I mean, definitely the heart rate's coming up with that sled push and pull.
Yeah.
Those are kind of crushing me right now.
Yeah, I made a comment today, I think, after one round. I was like, dude, my heart rate doesn't look that high, but I'm breathing over here really heavy. I'm like, but I mean, I had stopped for 30 seconds, so maybe it came down. But yeah, but I don't know. Like I feel like I was faster through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like I was definitely faster, but I didn't feel like it. I felt like I was struggling. My freaking quads were on fire. And then I felt like when I was doing the ball, I couldn't breathe. I was just sucking air.
Which one, the wall balls or the ball slam?
The slams.
Okay.
Yeah, the slams. So I was just sucking air. And then it was over. And I was looking at the time. I was like, dude, did I skip something? I kept feeling like I was skipping something.
Yeah, you did mention that a couple of times. You finished with over 3 minutes left, right?
4.
4? Okay, yeah. That's cruising.
So I don't know if I don't know, maybe I wasn't doing all the meters or something on the bikes or something. I don't know. But y'all are always making me question myself on a normal basis, constantly. Y'all should be building my confidence.
Why?
And y'all making me question myself.
Why? You were way ahead of everybody.
That's why.
You thought either we were moving too slow or you were skipping something, or maybe you're just that strong.
I just assumed I was skipping something. I wasn't saying y'all were moving slow. I assumed y'all were
Maybe
moving
you've
fast.
Maybe you've just gotten that strong. All that zone 2 work paying off.
Maybe I'm just that much better than y'all.
It's very possible.
I am the coach. I mean,
coach.
I didn't think I was that much better than y'all. So especially that one person, she's best there is, strongest there is. Like the Hulk.
The Hulk?
Mm-hmm.
She-Hulk.
Well, like a little Hulk.
She's a very small, petite Hulk, but she's a Hulk.
She-Hulk.
White bread Hulk.
White bread, yeah.
Wonder Bread.
Wonder bread. I'm sorry.
Wonder Bread Hulk.
What's the difference between white bread and Wonder bread?
I think as Wonder Bread is a very specific brand. We were joking, if you were gonna say the whitest white bread, Wonder Bread is the one that comes to mind because it's the most generic brand, I think.
No, I think they actually have generic white bread, and it literally falls apart. I know because I was poor, so when we were growing up, that's what we had. So it's when you try to
couldn't
put
afford that Wonder
peanut
Bread?
butter.
when you try to put anything on it, it just disintegrates.
You couldn't afford that Wonder Bread?
No.
No Wonder Bread money?
Wonder bread's that's rich
That's
folk
classy.
bread. Yeah.
That was
that
that $2.50 loaf.
That stuff's
couldn't
thick,
do that
man.
$2.50 loaf.
You know what I'm saying? It's all decorated and stuff. It's got red, white, and blue, I think, right?
Yeah. The white, it was white bag with little red, white.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen it on the store shelves for sure. I'm like, man, I wonder when we can get some of that Wonder Bread.
That's how the other half lives.
Yeah. I be seeing people walk around with Wonder Bread. And I'm like, dang. That must be good bread.
I always thought Mrs. Baird's was like good bread when I was a kid.
Yeah, probably true.
Baird's.
Yeah, it's a popular one, too. But theirs are thinner than the Wonder Bread, I feel like.
I don't remember. I went to the Mrs. Baird. Is it Baird's or Bears?
Something like that.
Something like that.
Baird's. Yeah.
We went to the museum when I was in elementary school. Which
Mrs. Baird's museum?
Not museum. I'm sorry. The factory. I'm sorry, not the museum.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The factory
okay,
that used to be downtown.
Mrs. Baird's?
Sorry, no.
Museum?
The factory that used to be downtown. And I remember that was the first field trip I remember. And I just remember it being one of my favorite ones because it smelled like fresh baked bread everywhere.
Sure.
Best thing ever. And they gave you free buttered bread at the end. I was like,
course.
every field trip should end with free buttered bread.
There you go.
Sold.
We have a member that works downtown at one of those
She
bread
does.
places.
And she brings us snacks every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice.
Making that bread.
Mm-hmm.
You can always feel free to bring us snacks, people. If Coach
Bring
James,
Lauren snacks.
if James
definitely.
doesn't eat them, Lauren will.
Bring them to Lauren. She needs them more than I
I
do.
hoard them.
She needs them much more than I do.
I think when one of our members brought like all the coaches like a loaf of that sourdough bread.
Now that you want to bring me some sourdough bread. That's
I love a good sourdough bread. And you like had the strength, the willpower to save yours. I ate over half of mine in an hour.
How much protein you feel like was in that?
None.
bread?
I didn't care. I was just it was so good. I was just sitting there and just
If
eating
that had
it
been,
plain.
let's say that had been like some chocolate protein, how long do you think it would have sat there before she dove into
It would
it?
have taken me so
Well,
long.
remember, she doesn't like chocolate protein.
know. I
don't like
but she'll keep
chocolate.
buying it.
Exactly, but
This
she's gonna keep
time,
buying it
this
anyway
time she
because-
might like it.
This is the time.
Speaking of, I was so upset. Like I have my subscription for my protein powder, and I usually get the vanilla. And I told y'all how I tried the chocolate the one time. Apparently, I forgot to change the flavor that I wanted in my subscription, and they sent me another bag of chocolate
That you don't like.
that I don't like. And I was like,
So why don't you just return it?
Is it
"Man,
Amazon?
I tried because you can't because it's from it's through Amazon, but because it's a third party seller and like they're batched out of like, I guess it says batched in Ireland. I don't know how true that is, but I tried to see if I could send it back and or exchange it, and it said it wasn't available.
Well, if there's anyone out there listening and you would like some
I might give it
chocolate
away. Maybe I'll do a
vegan
giveaway.
protein, it's vegan, right?
From Ireland.
It's plant.
From Ireland, chocolate
pea
Ireland,
base.
Irish vegan protein. That sounds really good, by the way. Lauren
I like
has
it.
got you.
I don't like the chocolate, but I like the vanilla, and I want to try their berry.
You know,
flavor.
we're in an age where, people have all sorts of labels for themselves.
Oh yeah,
Protein's in there now.
But I love that Lauren has a whole protein label.
Irish
I have
vegan, pea
Irish
protein.
vegan, pea protein.
So like, if let's say this was a sitcom, like instead of it was the Running with James podcast, right? Where we're bringing information, talking about HYROX, and today we are going to be talking about our second week of this series leading up to HYROX Dallas, and we're really going to be getting into the art of doing the strength and building that engine, right? But let's pretend like, let's say we were the HYROX engine build sitcom, dun 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 dun, right?
Laugh track.
Yeah, then we do the right. So with a live studio audience, obviously. Like, what character do you feel like Carlos would be? Like, what do you think his
Carlos
dynamic
would be the sensible, he'd be like the sensible mediator.
the
kinda.
sensible mediator?
Like the one who's like kind of in the middle of everything. Like he's like there to kind of like try to glue everyone together and like.
Would I be
keep
like the
friendship.
neighbor? Like the
No,
friendly
I don't
neighbor?
feel
No,
like-
you
I feel
wouldn't
like
be
he
the
would-
neighbor.
I feel like because I don't know if you actually listen to the podcast, but he's an instigator.
I feel like you're an instigator.
I am actually the glue that holds everything together. If
like
there
you-
was ever glue, that would be me. This dude is an instigator. Like, I let things go, and he's over here literally picking at you
Poking the bear.
and laughing, and then I get blamed for it. That's what I think is awesome.
Maybe I'm trying to like think if I were comparing us to like a certain sitcom and the characters. I'm trying to think. You might be the Chandler, which was a great character. Friends.
We're talking about friends.
I know you're talking about, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd want to be any of those characters, to be honest with you.
Chandler was a great one. Chandler is who I relate the most with, I think. But
Really? I would think you're more of a Phoebe.
I also think I'm partially Phoebe for sure.
Actually, you're probably a little bit of Phoebe. I think you got a little bit.
I'm awkward like Chandler.
You got a little bit of, what's the other girl?
I see Phoebe.
The,
Do you?
yeah, I see a lot of Phoebe, but also I see the other one, the other blonde one, the more famous one.
Oh, Jennifer Aniston?
Jennifer Aniston. What was her character name?
Rachel.
I see a lot of Rachel too, like
Yeah.
early Rachel years,
Okay.
right? Definitely no, not the other one. What's the other one's name?
Monica, who's very type A.
Definitely not Monica.
Not Monica at all. I'm okay
even
with that. Monica was super.
See, I see by Phoebe by your statement the other day of I was with my juggler friends.
Yeah.
That's a Phoebe statement right there.
Yeah. Yeah. You know,
We're gonna get to this podcast eventually, guys.
we are. I mean, we're only like a few minutes in, so we're good. We're well within our realm of lunacy.
Non-sensory.
So, but that's actually a great question. I'm going to ask you guys. Why don't you do this? Why don't you at the bottom on the comment section? What character do you feel like in the sitcom that is the Running with James sitcom? What character do you feel that we are? Like, is Carlos? Is he the glue holding it together? Is he the instigating, bear picking?
Wisecracking.
We'll say Chandler. What's Lauren? Is she Phoebe? Is she? I'm trying to think of another like.
So I was gonna say,
They
but
kinda
I really
have
don't want to
standard
be this character. I don't want to be this character. But I was thinking in Full House because I was like, that's another big show.
It is.
The
Yeah, I can
neighbor
see it.
girl.
Yep.
No, I don't
Yep.
want to be her. She
Yep.
was so annoying.
Which one?
The neighbor girl was like, "Hi, Mr. P,"
Yeah.
and always like
Oh.
came over, and she like was
Oh
just.
my- what was
She was
her
a
name?
sidekick character. No offense, but she was. She was a sidekick.
The
character.
friend. She was the friend that
She
always
was the
came-
friend
She
that
came
was
over
always,
that nobody liked.
Yeah.
You're not that friend. You're not that.
No,
one.
you're not.
Everybody
I don't
loves
want to. I don't want to.
I just said everybody loves you.
I know, but I don't want to be her.
you. But she was like
annoying.
that weirdo kind of like.
She was weird. She was always saying something very weird.
and doing things that didn't make any sense.
that part's true.
You're not
I'm like,
selling it, James.
I
no.
know.
I was trying to think. I was thinking Three's Company. I'm like, well, I'm definitely Chrissy, and if it was Three's Company.
I almost mentioned Three's Company, but I was like,
I-
that's too old. Nobody
No,
know what that is.
I grew
Just
up.
me and you
I
were
loved
gonna-
that show.
just-
Yeah. I mean, I watched it like it was syndication, I guess, by the time I was. But
was
we
a-
had like 6 channels.
yeah, that's
You know,
it.
that's-
and that was one of the shows
Yeah,
that
that
came
was
on
Three's
at
Company,
some
yep.
time.
I love
I
that
watched a
show.
lot of, and you're not going to understand this, but there was this one. It was kind of a sitcom Telemundo kind of show, but it was in part of it was in Spanish and part of it was English. So I think it was like a show they created so the people that spoke Spanish could learn how to speak English.
Oh.
I don't know
That's
why I
smart.
liked it,
That's smart.
but I would watch it all the time, and I can't even remember the name of
And
it.
you didn't learn how to speak Spanish from it.
No,
So it obviously didn't work the other way around.
I don't think so. No. So maybe I don't know. The 6 years of Spanish I took also didn't teach me how to speak Spanish. Or the 15 years of working with Spanish-speaking people has not taught me Spanish.
I the other day went to Wendy's and I was ordering something and I was like, chocolate milk, please. And she was like, tacos? I was like, all right, Alex, now's your chance. He's in Spanish. I was like, come on. He's like, no.
Taco.
Yes. I was like, leche.
You didn't get finger chili.
What? Fingers.
You said Wendy's, right?
Yeah.
Finger chili.
I'm-
The 2006? The chili, the finger they found in the chili in Wendy's.
I've never
Does
heard of it.
nobody remember this? I literally this was a huge deal. I remember this. And I actually just listened to the podcast there was a whole podcast on it about a woman who tried to sue Wendy's for finding a finger in her chili.
It sounds vaguely
It was
familiar.
huge. It made all
I remember the
national
chicken
news.
head in KFC.
I don't remember that.
The fried chicken head.
I remember the woman who also sued and won McDonald's for her coffee being so hot it burned her.
That's correct. That's why they have the little label on there now.
But spoiler alert, in case you don't remember the story, but the woman, she planted a real finger in her chili, but tried to sue Wendy's for their having a finger, and it was like a whole thing got carried out. And then she tried to like backtrack, and like it was not a big deal. I'm okay with having a finger in my chili. I'm not going to sue y'all anymore. And they're like, no. This was like after like she like drugged them through the ground. It's a whole thing.
Whose finger was
I'd
it?
never heard of it before.
It was. I'm trying to think what they.
It'd been funny if she had only 9 fingers.
No, it was.
Bandage.
She got it. I'm trying to remember where she got it from. I think it was like a family friend who had lost his finger in an accident, and I think he like owed them money. He owed this couple money or something. And I could be butchering this, but I want to think they like offered to like, we'll forget your debt if we can have your finger. And then I think that's what it was because they went through a couple
That just
different
tells
things.
you that's kind of dumb because if they were really,
They were a
they knew what
stupid
they
couple.
were doing, they would have like put something else in there, like a hoof or something,
Yeah.
or like the ear or whatever the kind of meat they used.
Not a
Because
finger.
if somebody loses a finger in the manufacturing plant, they're shutting that joint
Well,
down.
that's what they like went through this huge investigation, but it was like a huge thing, made national news. I mean, I remember when it happened.
Will you
I don't
accept
remember
a finger as payment for run training?
Never,
No. All right.
Never.
Just
never.
you remember Big Lebowski? I can get you a toe by 9 o'clock.
That's what I'm saying. No. I mean, sourdough, we might talk discounts,
Okay.
right? But I
Homemade
don't want to make any promises because people have already been bringing me sourdough, and now they're going to be expecting discounts.
I mean, homemade. I would put some. It has to be homemade.
I'm going to say something
That's always
controversial
better.
about sour bread. I love it.
Yep.
But I just got some from Season Harvest, and they only had the rosemary one.
Ooh.
I hate it.
Yeah, no.
I'll take it.
Rosemary and bread does not.
No.
Why?
You want it? I'll bring
love
it.
rosemary and bread.
And this is starving after the workout.
Yeah.
This is I'm ravenous.
Yeah.
Took it out.
Yeah, no.
Good now.
Rosemary and bread's.
All bread is good bread.
I made
Dip
the
in some oil.
No.
That's what you messed up. You messed up, man. Oil with some oregano and stuff in it.
It's just that smells. I don't know why it would possess me. I just was craving sourdough bread, and Gabe was like, all they have is the rosemary. I was like, get it. But then right after I hung up, I was like, why did I do that?
Yeah.
And I knew. So
I mean, those things happen, right? Live and learn.
live and learn.
Live and learn. Live and learn. So,
I love a good bread. All bread's good bread.
yeah, a lot of women like bread. I find
bread.
like women like it's like meat and potatoes kind of gal.
Carbs are like a happy place for a lot of ladies. I think. I don't know.
Sure.
They're just comforting. They're there for you.
Sure,
You need them.
We do need
you
them.
do need carbs.
Especially for all the exercise.
Yep, they can super power you when it comes to training for HYROX. Actually, right? We always talk about carbs, the importance of them, right? Specifically because of the energy systems we're using. I probably wouldn't eat a loaf of rosemary sourdough before I go work out or after directly, but definitely a good staple to be putting in your nutrition plan. So, all rosemary bread talk aside, I know you're going to be excited because he's going to bring that to you.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
He's going to bring that to you.
I'm gonna have lunch tomorrow.
Yeah. So what are you going to put with the bread
Nothing.
to make it lunch? Because eating a loaf of rosemary.
Is it a full loaf
bread
or half a loaf?
Is not.
It's a full loaf.
Is not lunch. What are you going to put with it? What, like, you going to make a sandwich? Is it going to be like you're going to turn it into garlic bread?
Maybe I'll bring
like,
an avocado. Make avocado toast. Ooh, that sounds good.
That
Yeah.
is not.
With an egg.
We are that macros.
Avocado toast with an egg.
Do you know what
2
those
eggs.
ratios are?
You're
Not
probably
enough
like
protein.
10%
With 2
protein.
eggs, you're going to have about 10 grams of protein.
Yeah, I know.
And you're going to have about, I don't know, 50 grams because you're probably going to eat that whole loaf. So maybe 120 grams of carbs. And then your avocado is going to be like 50 grams of fat. That's a good ratio. Gains. You're going to have plenty of energy for Saturday's long run. Right?
Be good.
I'm sorry.
I don't know.
I apologize.
I'll figure it out.
I was thinking of this earlier
I don't
today.
have a kitchen. You don't remember this. I don't have
There's
a kitchen.
a full kitchen downstairs.
Yeah.
I know because I use it every
You do
stinking
use
day.
it. You do.
Stove, microwave,
Air fryer,
air fryer.
bread warmer,
Ooh, bread warmer.
ovens.
Oh,
There's
wow.
multiple ovens, gas. There's actually one of the griddle. There's a griddle in there.
Have a
Like if you want to
griddle?
like make pancakes or you want to make like hamburgers, there's an actual griddle.
I'm gonna come in one day with all the ingredients, and James isn't. I'm just gonna be in there for like an hour. I'm gonna come out with a full breakfast: pancakes, eggs, some bacon.
Why would that take an hour?
I'm just you never
15
know.
minutes, dude.
15 minutes.
Yes.
Do you do like the Bisquick pancake mix? What do you do?
No, it does not take an
You
hour
gotta
to make
let
pancakes.
it. You gotta let it saturate and sit for like 15 minutes.
No, you don't.
I do. That's how my pancakes turn out. Delicious.
I would be willing to bet money that we could do a competition of pancakes and you could let your 15-minute pancake waiting rise or whatever you're letting it do.
You let it hydrate.
And I could make my protein pancakes, which aren't even all that great, and I would win.
Oh no, my pancakes are really good.
I think we should do this competition and
I
video
think
it.
The competition should be both the same mix.
I would say it has to be the
Cook-
same ingredients. It
make
can't be
one-
like separate.
No.
Let it sit
no,
for 15 minutes.
No, because the
Okay.
whole point is she's saying that hers are the best.
Oh,
I didn't say
Right.
they're the best. I said they're really good.
Okay, well, yours are really good then.
They're really good.
Okay, but I'm saying it don't take 15 minutes to make really good pancakes. So I know why she's saying that it take that long, or not 15 minutes, longer, because you have to let them rise for 15 minutes
Yes.
or sit for 15 minutes, right?
Yes. So you let the mixture hydrate so that the flours absorb all the water. So when you go, they're not flat. They get full and they fluff up.
Yeah. That's what baking powder's for.
I do baking powder as well.
So if you put baking powder, they'll rise naturally.
I don't think it's the same.
I think we should do this and do a blind taste test and let Carlos.
I love pancakes.
He loves pancakes.
This is right up my alley. I had
Right?
pancakes
so actually,
today
what we
twice.
should probably do is we should have another person as well.
Melanie,
That way, Melanie works.
she'd be a great one.
But they both have to be blinded. Okay.
with a mask. You're not gonna stab me in the eyes, are you?
No, yeah, of course.
I'm
We're
just
gonna
making sure. I'm
we're gonna shine bright lights in your eyes until you go temporarily blind, right?
Okay.
And then we see, and then maybe we can help. Either you could teach me how to make better pancakes, which I would love that because I always like learning new things, or we could help teach you how to save 45 minutes on your breakfast.
Win, win, win.
So it's win-win, right?
Something's happening.
Everybody's
It's a
winning here.
win-win.
You're getting pancakes.
It's a win.
I'm learning how to
situation.
make better, fluffier pancakes, and this chick's learning how to save time.
Do you put sugar in your pancakes?
I usually use
Do you honey?
what do you call it?
Agave?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Agave instead.
Forgot you're an agave guy.
I am. So I use yeah. So I mean I'll make them from scratch. I usually try to just save time and just use like the Bisquick all-purpose mix, right? Which is basically just flour.
It's just all the things already mixed together.
For the most part. I still
Yeah.
add stuff into it,
Yeah.
right, to make them better. I make a pretty mean almond flour pancake too.
Ooh.
That's pretty good. You literally just I'll usually use like part almond flour, part
regular
flour,
flour.
right? Just so they rise a little bit better.
Do you find that the almond flour, if you were to do just almond, gets a little grainier?
It depends on like when I made waffles. So like when we do the Daniel fast, like you can use almond flour, but you're not supposed to use like anything that's like
No leaveners, right?
no leaven, right?
Yeah.
So you can't use like baking powder.
Yeah.
So and then you're also not drinking like milk and stuff.
Okay.
So if you try to like make waffles, say you can't really make pancakes because they're like it's more like a what's
Crepe.
the really really thin pancakes?
Crepe.
The creepies.
Crepe.
So
really, really thin pancake.
exactly. So I'll make waffles and they taste good, but it is grainy.
Yeah.
It's really kind of grainy.
Yeah.
And they fall apart really easily.
I
You
saw-
don't do them perfectly.
Yeah. I saw a recipe for like a polenta waffle or like a pancake, and it sounded weird, but when I saw her make it, I was like, actually looks really good.
Actually, no one. You have a waffle maker, right?
I did. It broke recently. I got to get a new one.
Get a cheap waffle maker. Save you tons of time.
I love a waffle.
Get canned biscuits, canned cinnamon rolls, and canned
and do the waffles.
croissants, right? Just the small ones. So there's only like 4 or 5 in each one. And just place the dough on the waffle maker. And you just got a waffle.
Really?
Yeah.
But
The cinnamon rolls are really good because like you basically, they're cinnamon. And then if you want to use the syrup, or not the syrup, what's that?
Icing.
Or you could put syrup on them. So that's like, takes like 2 minutes to make a,
That'd be right up Alex's alley there.
yeah, they're good. They're good.
Those sound
So
good.
they taste a little bit different than like say, like when I do the biscuit ones, sometimes I'll use syrup, but then sometimes I'll just put like jam and butter on them. So, but they don't taste the same as like a biscuit.
Okay.
It does have kind of a waffly feel to it. So, and those are super quick because you don't do anything. You just
Plop them in.
smosh them and go. And they cook faster that way than if you put like the things in the oven.
I bet they'd be better if you waited 15 minutes.
Maybe. Let them rise.
Telling you that 15 minutes let it hydrate, I think it makes all the difference. Melanie might agree with you. She might say it's not necessary. I just think it helps.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So that's why you test it to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to make this an event, and we're going to film this. It's going to be so good. And I'm going to learn how
This is
to
going
make
to be like Chopped.
The event.
What's Chopped?
Chopped, the show.
I don't think I've watched it.
Is that
Oh,
the
it's like
where
it's one of those cooking shows where they basically, but it's like you have chefs and they're like, all right, chefs, your ingredient is, and they like give them all these ingredients. You have to rush to the
I
ingredients.
thought that was like Iron Chef.
It's similar.
Okay.
I think Chopped is like the more fun version. Like you don't have to be a Michelin star chef to be in the mix. It can be like anybody.
Gotcha.
And they
You
all
know
have-
what's fascinating about cooking is you can use the same ingredients and just prepare them differently, like her 15-minute wait period. And it does change the food a lot, right? So I find that if you let it sit, the only way you're going to get the consistency you want is you'd have to add more water because they get so thick. Like the dough gets really thick. And I don't like my pancakes to be too cakey. You know what I mean? Like I don't want them like super thick.
Yeah.
I like them fluffy, which means they have to have stand up with air in there, right? Where they're nice and fluffy, not just like some fat old thick boys.
See, that's
You
another
like
thing.
'em thick?
I'm starting to wonder like if maybe we also have a very different definition of a fluffy pancake, because I don't like I don't want something that looks like pound cake, like
Yeah.
a thick boy.
That's what I'm hearing
But-
from your 15-minute wait time.
But if it like when I like flap it in the wind.
Sometimes you have to
Only
flap
the
it in the
YouTube
wind.
people are getting this visual. When you like flap it in the wind,
people that are watching online.
that's what I mean.
well,
The YouTube people are getting this visual. Then it shouldn't just like
This is going to be an event. She's flapping her pancake.
flap. It should have a little bit of like girth and stiffness to it. I'm sorry. I'm picking all the right words.
I'm a heathen. I just cook my pancakes. What's usually
That's what I'm
quick?
saying. I'm
quick
just
in the
making
butt.
these pancakes, put some butter and some syrup on it.
Yes,
I
throw
take
some
pancakes
butter.
so seriously in my
throw some
house.
syrup, maple syrup.
I also love making a quiche. I love making quiche.
We know that for sure.
Yeah,
Or
no-
I know that. I know you like a good quiche.
I love quiche.
Yep, a good quiche.
Yeah.
Well, I think the important part of the pancake is just having the right amount of rise, and then you have a little crust. You have to have the crust because that crust is where like you get a little crunch with the soft. That's I think the thing about like when you go to Cracker Barrel, that's the only good thing about their pancake.
They do
is
good
They always have a good
pancakes.
crust.
They do.
Right.
They do.
So if you can make a fluffy pancake with the crust, and there's a secret to doing it, and it's really simple. I'd teach you, but then you would have a chance of beating me.
I only make my pancakes in a cast iron skillet too.
Yeah, I mean
Only.
that's a good way to do them.
Only do it that way.
That's a good way to do them. That's a good way to do them. But you could also do them on a griddle.
You can, but something about the cast iron skillet just I like the handle of it.
Okay.
I like-
Why don't you stop explaining things? Because I'm.
He's on edge.
Did you see what she just did?
That is
Nobody holds a cast iron skillet like that.
you do hold it like this.
No, that is not what you did.
How do you hold it? You hold it like this.
No, it's okay.
So you can flip it. I don't flip them. I'm not good at flipping.
Your little dainty wrists. That's why your wrists are hurt all the time.
No, I-
Trying to flip a cast iron.
Cast iron skillets are heavy.
That's what I
man.
mean.
That's the thing. I don't flip them.
You need like two hands.
You need two
Yeah,
hands.
those are like
and-
heavy. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's why your wrists are hurt. Trying to flip cast
wrists
iron.
are-
Okay, we're done talking about pancakes, guys. I'm sorry. It's all you got to do is find the right topic for Lauren.
We'll be selling tickets to our pancake showdown.
Baking cats.
Pancake off.
Pancake
Yes, the pancake off.
working title.
Yeah, we're working on this title. We're working on this title. So today, guys, we're gonna get back into talking about HYROX. We're only 35 minutes into the podcast, and we're just now getting to the topic. This is good stuff. So the last couple weeks, or actually last week, we talked really just like how do you put together a plan, right? How do you focus on dialing in those last 4 weeks? And so today we want to get into like the strength and engine building, right? Now, obviously, we're only a few weeks out from Dallas, so you're probably not going to build too much of your engine between now and then, right? But these are good. This is good stuff to kind of help you understand, what are the base foundations of doing that, so that as you move forward, you can really make whatever adaptations you need to get to that next level, right? So, I think for the most part, when we talk about strength, everybody is thinking, HYROX. I don't know. I mean, you see a lot of the posts about HYROX. I think the CrossFitters or the strength people are like, HYROX is not. You don't need to be strong to do HYROX. You just need to run or something like that. It's like you don't really need a lot of strength for HYROX. Which I don't know. I don't get offended by it, but I'm just like, you obviously haven't done it.
That's kind of how I feel. I'm like, have you felt that sled? That sled does not feel great.
Well, it's kind of just, sometimes when you're doing the Olympic lifts, you get a little, let's say, snooty kind
Yeah.
of feel. You feel that's the strength.
Yeah, that's
kind
how
of
you get
feel.
real strength.
That's the real strength, but, does it always, it does build strength.
Yeah.
But it sometimes does it translate if you are strong, but you have that aerobic engine. So it's
Yeah.
like both kind of deal.
Well, I mean, the thing that really is going to carry you through HYROX or through the race is strength and power, bottom line, right? So definitely you have to have that strong aerobic foundation, and that's the thing that is going to help you be able to finish the race. But if you're going to be competitive or if you're going to do your best, you have to have strength, you have to have power, and that comes from lifting, right? It comes from a lot of functional movements, I believe. I think a perfect example is this. We were, or me specifically. How about I just talk about me? Like, definitely a runner. A lot of obstacle course training, so a lot of body weight movements, and not really using a ton of weights. I lifted some weights, but not like wasn't doing it very often. But a lot of body weight movements, a lot of calisthenics, obviously obstacles, hanging, swinging, stuff like that, and a lot of running. And just even today, right? Just doing like the wall balls. I remember when we did the wall balls for the first time, and I remember doing like 25, 30 reps with a 14-pound ball and just thinking, oh my God, this is so hard. This is so heavy. And when we got to the last round today, and I used it like not very heavy, so like the strength of using like a 30-pound ball, or, doing heavy front squats, or, pushing a 500-pound sled, stuff like that. There's a lot of power that comes from that, but it's not the same as like being able to go 30 feet down a monkey bar or something like that, or climb a 50-foot rope or something like it's different kinds of strength. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, if I would have, like when we started, like say doing wall balls, if you'd have thrown me a 30-pound wall ball, I'd have probably collapsed over.
Yeah. I definitely don't think I could have thrown it. I probably would. Maybe, I don't know if I could have gotten it to the ladies' target, to be honest with you.
Yeah. No, it's taken a while to build that up, that strength and, the engine for it.
So I think the biggest question, the first question is why is strength such a big deal for endurance performance? Okay, so we talk about this, and actually, I just did a webinar for a group. We're doing this like series every month on running and how to be better runners and stuff like that. And so this past week we talked about strength and we talked about recovery and like overcoming injuries. And I don't think a lot of runners specifically focus enough on strength work, which is a lot of reason why they're injured all the time. And so by getting people into HYROX, I feel like I've helped a lot of the runners that I coach become much better runners because they've inadvertently done a lot of functional movies that naturally make them better runners. So why do you feel like doing strength training is really important for endurance performance?
I think just what you said and it helps with any kind of imbalances you get just from, doing the repetitive motions of running. Definitely are you engaging the glutes? You can, do, what are they called? Is it pull-up presses? Kind of working that's not what they're called. Where you're working the adductor, like your legs on there.
Like on a bench or something?
Yes, on a bench.
Yeah.
Just hit movements like you wouldn't normally, muscles you might not be engaged in fully in running. That kind of makes you, I say, not bulletproof, but makes you more a complete athlete kind of deal versus, like you said, the running. Well, if you don't do any upper body strength, I'm a runner, I don't need to do any upper body strength, but that is, your core, your upper body. You are driving your arms, your shoulders. You do need that strength, really kind of pump your arms. The quicker you can pump, stronger the arms, and the quicker your legs can go. Kind of deal. So these are all, a full. You need the whole body.
Yeah.
For core, that's another big part. You're only as strong as your core. That's how it connects the upper and lower body. So these are all, important movements of if you're just running because that's all you want to do, you're missing out on a big part of, improving your fitness.
Yeah. What do you think, Lauren? Why do you think strength is so good for endurance performance?
Definitely what Carlos said about it being a repetitive movement. So you definitely want to have the strength to back up your body repeating the same mechanic over and over again. But going a little more in depth into the imbalances, if you really need to target form, if you're doing a repetitive motion, you need to have the form down so that you're efficient, you can do your best. You need to target any imbalances your body might have, so you need to make sure that you're strengthening the areas that you might be weaker in so your body can hit the form and can perform with efficiency.
Yeah. So there was some interesting research that was done at the Rønnestad Mujika University, 2014, showed that adding heavy strength training to an endurance athlete's routine led to significant improvements in running economy and time to exhaustion. Now, when I hear improvements to economy and time to exhaustion, I immediately think HYROX. Because most people that are doing HYROX, that's usually what ends up happening is they're super inefficient and they get exhausted
fast
really quickly, right? And the race just blows up. So, stronger muscles use less energy. So if you want to be able to do a certain amount of work, the stronger your muscles are, the more work those muscles can do. It's just simple math, right? So I think that's big for HYROX. So working on those imbalances like you guys are talking about, those muscles that don't get utilized like maybe you want them to in the running motion. And so, HYROX is 8 runs, which we always talk about that. It's a lot of running, but it's also 8 workouts. And so your efficiency from one movement to the next or one workout to the next will depend or will determine your ultimate performance. So if maybe you're really strong on the sled push and even the sled pull, but you don't have like the endurance, you're going to crash and burn when you get to the burpees. Maybe you're amazing at the burpees, but you don't have the core strength or the single leg strength. And when you get to the lunges, you just fall apart. And so you do need strength, power, and endurance.
Yeah, like you said, just core strength. If you don't have a strong core, by the lunges and then to the wall balls, you are just leaning all the way over. That ball is
Oh yeah, your posture.
That's what I mean. Your posture
horrible.
from the lunges, and then you're getting trashed on the wall ball. By that time, your core is trashed. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just done if you
Yeah.
don't have that strength. So that's what you kind of go into the early training, and I've adapted that with some of my athletes is a lot of the front rack stuff.
Yep.
Having that front rack, and I've seen some great improvement. Seen people doing their lunges like used to lean forward. Why don't we have sandbags? Like, no, just stick with the front rack. Don't rest on your shoulders. Think
Your
that
chest
that
up.
your torso upright. And it's the same thing. Like you always do key points when we're doing our wall balls. Keep that torso, keep that core engaged, torso up. So that's a good kind of key indicator of movement. Just having that efficient form. That's the first thing that goes is the core on the wall balls, and you see everyone. It's just leaning forward,
Yep.
dropping. I mean,
Hinging.
maybe it's some mobility of their hips, but that's also it could be that core is just not strong enough to kind of maintain that upright position.
For sure. Well, and I think that's probably one of the big things about lifting heavier, right? And doing some of the different movements like front rack squats or front rack lunges is that, it helps. You have to, or doing the heavy wall balls, you have to have your core engaged, right? You have to have good posture because if
Yeah.
not, the
You're
heavy
going
ball
forward.
literally just pulls you over and you fall forward on your face, right? It's like no balance whatsoever. So you feel like I feel my core like locked in when I'm doing the heavier wall balls.
You have to. It's like that's like a meteorite coming down.
Yeah.
So that's got some momentum coming down.
Yeah. So I think there are definitely some key lifts or some key movements you have to do if you're going to be developing that endurance and that strength throughout HYROX. Obviously, sled push and pull. You've got to kind of lock that down. If anything, yes, you definitely need to build strength in that.
Yeah.
But then also just learning what's the most efficient way for you to push that sled. I mean, if you remember like the first few times you did it or I did it, like straight arms, weight away from the sled, you're too high or you're picking it up, right?
Oh, yeah.
Back of it's off the ground, just thinking of all the ways you've seen people utilize the sled and push the sled. Yes, I guess kind of like running, it should be just very intuitive, but it's not. And so you have to, how many times do you tell people, hey, why don't you try doing this? And they go from like a snail's pace to like almost running.
Yes.
So those are all things like you need to touch the sled so that you can, get the efficiency down, but you also want to build your lower body strength, right? That drive and that full body coordination and being able to focus on like controlling your power. So it needs to be definitely heavy enough that you can simulate what you might feel like in the race, but you also don't want to go too crazy where it's too heavy, where your form just like becomes trash. You know what I mean? So like I see, and maybe you can tell me this is the wrong thing for me to say or not, Lauren, but I was watching I saw a video and a young lady was training or whatever for the sled. And as she was pushing the sled, like just major movement in those hips, like you literally see the hips tilt back and forth.
Yeah.
So, I see that a lot in
I used to do that.
some of the women.
Yeah.
And what that tells me, I see that immediately, and what I'm thinking is you're engaging not enough muscle groups, and you're over engaging one particular muscle group, right? And so all I hear from that, or what I see from that, is you're going to fatigue earlier, and you don't have as much power and speed.
No, I would agree. I think I'm pretty sure I don't do it anymore. If I do, I hope somebody in this room would tell me. But I've definitely seen videos of me from older races where I was like, man, I got a lot of a lot of hip movement, a lot of wiggle in the backside. And it was something I started becoming aware of and trying to make sure I was targeting. I definitely think a lot of ladies tend to do it. And I think it's because for a lot of ladies, that sled is very scary and does feel very heavy. So they're going to whatever they can do to make it move. And it might just be activating that one muscle group instead of working on strengthening all the other ones.
Yeah.
So that they can, again, be efficient. They're like, I just got to move it. But they might not have someone teaching them, well, you can still learn to move it, but you can learn to move it and not feel as dead afterwards if you train the correct muscle groups.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. You said it is also understanding that if you want to get better at the sled, you need to train whatever muscle groups are weak that are challenging you, right? So, depending on the angle, depending on like how far your center of mass or your mass is over the weights, you really do engage a different set of muscles.
You 100%
right?
do.
So the further you are away from the sled, the more it's very quad dominant. The deeper you can get into it, the more your hamstrings and your glutes you tend to utilize. And so, that's obviously, well, maybe not obviously, but that should let you know that that's probably the way you want to do it, because hamstrings, glutes, and quads are a lot stronger than just quads.
Yeah. I think another part when I think about the people who do their arms out, I feel like that's something in their head. They're like, well, if I'm pushing from here, I'm getting it there faster because it's further in front of me. I feel like that's another thought process people might have. I could be wrong, but to me, like, some people are like, well, if it's out here and I'm pushing it, then it's moving away from me further or like faster. But that to me is so much harder to do it that way.
I don't know. Maybe. So
I see a common mistake of their feet being too close to the sled.
Yes. And they're like kind of hunched over.
Almost hunched over, almost like camel crawling kind of
Yeah.
deal. And it's just, you're not, it's just kind of.
Oh, yeah, it looks like it hurts.
So it's always like, nope, step back. It's almost like if you let go of the sled, you would fall down.
Yes.
You want to have that power, like you're in a power position to push, like old school football. You know what I mean? Getting that leverage versus, every time you scoot those feet back, nope, keep going. You're like you said, hunched over, kind of pulling. It's painful.
It looks painful in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So another thing, obviously, wall balls, another thing you have to work on, right? And it takes power and endurance. So, it also takes a good rhythm, right? You want to get into, like, that's what I feel like is one of the biggest things, kind of like running, is the rhythm of that. If you lose it, then you kind of have to reset and go again. So getting into a rhythm, learning how to breathe, and then kind of mentally pacing yourself is really important. So, I have clients, I'll sit there and watch them, or athletes, and, they're supposed to do however many reps they're supposed to do. And I'm like, have you taken a breath yet? And they're so focused on whatever it is they're doing, they're not thinking, I need to breathe. And so we understand oxygen helps to create energy. So if we're not inhaling and exhaling, if we're not processing oxygen through our body, our nose or our mouth, then you're not creating that energy you need to keep that rhythm and that repetition going. And so you need to, practice breathing, practice the rhythm of the movement. Doing things other than, so like at the track, right? We don't do wall balls at the track. What do we do?
Thrusters.
We do thrusters, right? We use kind of an awkward weight or what have you, but we'll do thrusters, which is it's the same movement, but it
feels
not
different.
Right? It definitely feels different. And I think, if you're focused on it, it can really help you with your form as well.
No, I try to go unbroken. I try to do the 50.
Yeah.
Every time. Yep. I try to do 50 just because I'm going to be able to push. If I can't do this, how can I expect to ever go unbroken?
In the wall balls.
On the wall balls. So
yeah.
It's maybe not the fastest, but I just try to keep that rhythm and just make sure you're trying to hit depth and just go overhead. You're right. It's a different rhythm because you're not waiting to catch the ball. So, but it's like I said, an engine builder.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then walking lunges is another one that definitely you got to have a good amount of power and strength to do. And so, like you talked about earlier, one of the things that we've done, over this last off season has been doing a lot of front rack lunges, a lot of heavy front rack lunges.
Yeah.
So obviously we started lighter and we've progressed, right? Progression is always key. So don't start like super crazy. But like, whether using kettlebells, dumbbells, or even a sandbag, but when you're front racking it makes you engage your core more. And I feel like that really helps not put so much of the load on that front leg, because 9 times out of 10, folks tend to lean forward when they go to stand up, and when they do, like, all their weight is on that front quad, and that sucker just gets burnt out.
I had a client, like you said, starting light. I had them doing the front rack, and I brought the little kettlebells over. Like, oh no,
yeah, of course.
No, I was like,
disrespecting them.
I'm stronger than that. I was like, tell you what, we're going back and forth. That's rough.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we're not setting them on the shoulders. They are front rack. They are in front of
Those
the
front
shoulders.
racks are a game changer
Yeah,
when it comes to training. It really is.
They're like, oh, thank you. That was, for not let me
do the heavy ones.
The heavy ones, yeah, they were gassed out after by the round of there and back. So
I think another area that people could work to strengthen for lunges is like their abductors. I see a lot of people who get on there and especially when they get tired, they get the real wobbly knee or their knees totally buckle in altogether. So I think like strengthening that abductor region, that glute region, also to make sure that it's helping you stand up and it's keeping you stable as you go through the movement.
Yeah.
Also think I like to go a little bit wider track. Sometimes
Do you step a little wide?
If I start feeling my legs get a little kind of wobbly, yeah,
I do too.
Give me a little wider base, kind of, like a little, almost like the monster walk kind of.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
I feel like I have a better base.
Gotcha.
If my legs start to feel a little tired, so I'm taking a little bit wider steps, and it gives me a little bit firmer base.
Yeah, I agree.
So, I mean, I think a couple movements that you can do to really help with all of that. so that you can work on all these muscle groups you guys are talking about. Definitely doing lunges, front rack lunges,
Absolutely.
sandbag lunges, Bulgarian split squats.
Yeah.
Split squats in general would also be a great idea. You could do plyometric style, like where you're basically doing like jump split squats. So that's more of a power movement, right? That really you have to engage your core for. So, I think kind of if you may be noticing the theme is you don't have to just constantly be doing simulations or doing the movements.
Not just doing a ton of lunges.
Right. To get better at the movements, right?
Yeah.
You need to work on whatever weaknesses that are holding you back from those movements. So let's say we were holding a seminar.
Yeah.
How to HYROX better. Okay. And someone raised their hand and they said, "Hey, Coach James, how do you get better at lunges?"
Do more lunges.
Weren't you told more lunges one time?
I was told
do more lunges. We're going to tell you a little differently.
I would immediately respond with, "Well, where do you feel like you struggle? What's the struggle with your lunges?" Well, I just can't do a bunch altogether. Okay. But where are you feeling? Are you feeling your glutes, your quad? Do you feel like you lean forward? Are you upright? Well, I do lean forward and I definitely feel it in my quad. So I would tell them, okay, well, number one, we need to strengthen your core. So how do we strengthen your core? Well, obviously doing core work, planks, farmer carries, whatever, but then also maybe front rack or maybe do overhead lunges.
Ooh, yeah.
Like where the weight's above your head with your elbows locked out.
No, I think
Bulgarian split squats, stuff like that.
Those are all perfect. And also technique. Are you letting that knee go really fall forward? And like I said, focusing on that quad versus kind of having that shin perpendicular and really engaging the glute.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a big difference there on doing the lunges.
Are you using one leg or are you actually taking advantage of using both legs, right?
Yeah.
So are you pushing with the back and the front leg at the same time so that you don't fatigue like one particular muscle group too quickly? So I would follow that up with questions, and then I would give suggestions on, okay, well, it sounds like these are some of the movements you could do. And then when you go back to doing lunges again, you might be surprised at how good you are at them, right? I think another one, and I think another one that doesn't get a lot of respect and that can help you with a lot of other movements is farmer carries as well.
It really makes you focus all your core stabilizers.
Yeah,
It activates everything.
So it's definitely grip specific. It's definitely core specific. Also, your shoulders can get pretty gassed as well. And your legs, if you carry them long enough.
Yeah.
And so, the farmer carries, you do it, obviously, right? But I mean, even like the slowest people are 2.5 minutes or something like that, right? You're usually not very.
It's a pretty short station.
It's a pretty like short time-wise station.
Yeah.
But if you train on it and you use much heavier weight, we did a block, or I did a block where, I was doing, I wasn't using I wasn't using the kettlebells. I was using like the hex bar. And I was like, I would load it up and load it up and load it up. And they weren't long. Like I would go like maybe 25 meters, right? Instead of doing like 50 or 100 meters. But I would do multiple sets of that, right? So it was like doing heavy weight for short reps, but I would do, a lot of sets of it, right? And it was crazy. Like the next time I picked up like the pro weight kettlebells, like they did not feel heavy. And I was able to like run with them much quicker than I had before, specifically because I had developed more grip strength, more core strength for that particular movement.
Yeah.
And I feel like it also helped in some other stuff too. So like really focusing on like all the different elements of strength and power that you need to be effective in each one of those movements, and understanding that energy systems kind of will overlap. And so your aerobic, your anaerobic, your muscle endurance, they all kind of work together, specifically in HYROX. And so you need to train those particular energy systems in those movements.
Agreed.
No, especially having like, it track. We don't always use, we start off with almost like a base building on endurance. We just do body weight lunges.
Yep.
Then as we get closer, once we've kind of built that foundation of endurance in the legs, okay, now we're going to put some strength and the sandbags in.
Right.
So there's a progression to make with all these exercises.
Well, I think that's the blending strength with endurance portion, right? And so, a lot of athletes I think mess up because they separate their training too much. You know what I mean? So maybe they lift one day, they run another day, but they never like blend the two together.
Yeah.
Or that's all they do.
They just blend.
Is they just do the blending, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to race well, you need to train your transitions. If you're going to do a partner, you need to know like how many reps are you doing before you switch off, stuff like that. And so that's a lot of times why, the Sundays that you just mentioned, why we develop those the way we develop them. And maybe we do 800-meter repeats, come in and do some workout and then go run again, and it's always a progression. So we don't usually start at a higher distance, right? We usually start lower, have a workout, and then we progress, based on how everybody's doing to make sure that, it's a manageable thing. I remember, what was it? Over the summer, we were doing some faster paced stuff, and it was just running. Remember that?
Like 400s, wasn't it?
Like 400s, and then we went to 800s. Yeah. And, we did some pretty big sets, and we mixed up the stuff and working on form. And the first week I threw in compromise running. I said, all right, guys, I'm going to introduce you to compromise running. So I came up with a compromise run workout. And I told everybody you need to slow down a little bit. And I gave them like an example of what to slow down to. And I was like, because it's going to be different once you start adding these workouts in. I think we made it through
half of the
2 rounds or something like that.
Is that where you stopped it?
And I stopped.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
We all had to have the powwow.
Right? And we all kind of brought it back in. I was like, you guys look like you're dying out there.
I think
you asked who's maintaining their pace.
Yeah.
No hands.
Yeah. There was like 3 of us that were actually keeping the same pace. Everybody else was like, at least they were being honest.
Yeah. Looking down. I was looking down at the ground.
Yeah. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. So, what's funny is that workout is the same workout that we did this past Sunday. The one I tried to throw everybody into. I was like, hey, here's the introduction. And
oh, it is.
It's the same workout. Yeah. So we had to back up and basically progress a little slower just because people weren't ready for that, right? So it doesn't make any sense to do a workout that you're not capable of doing effectively because you're not going to progress. So you're better off lowering the load so that you can develop the endurance and develop the strength and be consistent so that, 8 weeks later you can actually do it.
And build the confidence.
And build your confidence, yeah.
If you're just getting crushed every workout, not hitting it, it's just going to demoralize
you, exactly.
Yeah. Oh, and I think something else, and you kind of touched on it, I think at the very beginning, that not enough people do is they train just to the weight they know they have to perform at, and then that's where they stop. Like I know a lot of people, I've seen them load up their sleds and they load up the women's or the men's weight, and they never go past that.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, why do I need to push any heavier? Because this is what I'm doing race day. I'm like, you don't ever know what's going to happen. And why would you not want to get even stronger, push past that so that when you get to race day, that sled's going to feel nice. But I think you have to do it carefully.
I don't know. I feel like maybe the people you're thinking of are different than most of the people I
go to a lot of other people.
Yeah. So most of the things I see are people doing, I feel like they're doing it too heavy too often, and they're not doing enough repetition, right? So you want to do a mix, right? So think of it this way. Maybe have, like if you are a traditional weightlifter or strength trainer, you usually have a heavy lift day. You know what I mean? Well, when you have the heavier lift, you're doing much heavier weights, definitely overload, but you're doing like lower reps.
Yeah.
And, probably fewer sets as well.
Yes.
And then you might have a day where it's higher volume, where you lower the weight. And you do higher reps. Like higher reps or higher sets or something like that, right? Or maybe you do a ladder or something. So I think definitely sprinkling that in where you're definitely like pushing something heavier or, lifting something heavier or carrying something heavier, but you're not doing it as far. And then you have a workout where maybe you're doing lighter or the weight.
But you're doing it for longer.
But you're doing it for longer and you're trying to go faster. And that's really, if you notice, that's what Sundays are, So we do high volume. So we may run whatever the distance is, and then we come in and we do whatever the movements are, but we may do it with no weight or light weight. But we do like multiple, right? So, if you think about it right now, we're doing, 50 meters of lunges, right? But you have to do that twice.
Yep.
Okay? Or you're doing, 50 meters of burpees, but you got to do that twice, or you're doing all the farmer carries, but you got to do it twice. And then you load that up and you're doing it all back to back. And so you're technically doing this really high volume with running. And so even though you're not using weight, the volume of it over the extended period of the workout kind of gives you that feel that you're going to have in the race without the weight.
Yeah.
Because of the high volume, right? So yeah, I definitely think you have to go over the weight.
Yes.
Right? You have to train over the weight.
Build up to it. Don't just like jump into it.
Right. So that builds the strength.
Yes.
But then you also want to make sure you're hitting that endurance portion of it throughout some very key workouts.
Like on Tuesday, you have a double workout for me.
Yeah.
So I just kind of I keep it kind of chill. I'd push sleds, but light.
Yeah.
I'm below the weight.
Okay.
It's a little bit longer distance, just like you said. It's more of kind of a
Just the movement.
the movement, the AMRAP, just get my legs moving.
Sure.
Definitely trashed from Sunday, so I don't want anything heavy, and I have track work later, so it's just kind of moving it, but just longer distance. So it's definitely a 30-minute AMRAP, pulling, pushing, ski work and stuff. But it's not. I'm not, because I know I'm going to push heavy today.
Yeah.
Already, I have Thursday on the calendar, so I do not need 2 heavy days. It would just be almost counterproductive.
Right, because you wouldn't probably be able to perform.
Yeah, by Thursday, the legs will be
Right.
more trashed.
So, and I think that is another portion of it, or that's key, is more isn't always better. So HYROX athletes, I think, often overtrain because they're chasing intensity every single day, and so the goal isn't necessarily to destroy yourself, but it's to develop a sustainable engine. So, I may mention to you, I think today during our workout, I was like, yeah, man, hard workout, easy day, hard day, easy day, hard day. I was like, I think we're getting the ratios off here, playa.
Yeah.
But I mean, I biked 5 times this week. I've ran easy, super duper easy, right? So, but like the load as we kind of start approaching your race, we always talk about how we maybe start decreasing volume but increasing intensity. And it's insane to me, like as we increase the intensity and we're lowering the volume, like you feel more fatigue because you're increasing the intensity. So I am like doing less volume than maybe I was doing 8 weeks ago right now, but the workouts are harder overall. And I'm feeling it. I'm definitely feeling it. So, that says a lot to the whole 80-20 principle that, harder is not always necessarily going to be better for you, right? Or in the long haul, right?
Yeah.
So when we as we approach a race, like the last 2 to 3 weeks, that's one of the things we talked about last week. You lower volume, you raise intensity, and that's really just to help get your efficiency down, help build that last bit of strength. And then when you taper, then all of a sudden you lose all that fatigue, and then you rise and you get a new level of fitness.
Can't wait.
I know, right?
Can't wait.
Exactly right.
But I mean, today's workout.
Yeah.
3 10-minute blocks, and then 3. We rested between 3 minutes of wall balls.
Yeah.
3 minutes of work.
Yeah.
But it was intense.
Yeah.
It's pushing. So
Yeah.
it wasn't a 2-hour grinder workout.
It took 2 hours, but
that's
only because we were dragging by.
We dragging by. Well,
we really just kind of like waited for an hour to start it.
That's because it's going to hurt. That's
Yeah.
the procrastination of, wait a second, I need a few more stretches. Let me do this.
A couple more sips of that protein, that
dilly-dally.
coffee.
Yes. But then once we get rolling.
Yeah, once we get 33 minutes, done.
Done.
Done. I think it was less than 33 minutes of actual work. So let's kind of circle back around to the science for a second. So, I mentioned that study or that research that was done earlier. And so one of the reviews that came in concluded that concurrent strength and endurance, so in other words, doing strength training and endurance training at the same time, doesn't necessarily just make you stronger, but it makes you faster as well, more efficient if you program it correctly. And so elite endurance athletes actually saw running economy go up. So that means less oxygen used at the same pace. They also found that their time to exhaustion, I mentioned this earlier, went down. So they were able to go longer at the same pace before they felt that fatigue really hit.
Okay.
And in addition to that, they saw no negative effect on their VO2 max when they managed with proper recovery. So the key is to do strength training, very key workouts, while you're running, while you're doing all your other stuff, but then make sure that you're also adding in the recovery. And active recovery, like we've talked in the past ad nauseum, I think to an extent, is the key, right? So you can go run and that can be a recovery workout. You could go do a 30, 40-minute bike ride and that could be a recovery workout. And so instead of doing static recovery, doing the active stuff that will also train your aerobic capacity so that you're always working on the foundation of what all your fitness is really going to come from.
Keeping your easy.
Keep it easy.
I had a
push it hard.
client was kind of like asked how many days I ran. I was like 7.
Yeah.
Why aren't you supposed to take rest? But I was like, that 3 miles run of my overall volume, that 3 miles I do on Monday, whatever day it is, it's easy.
Yeah.
My heart rate is, it's a 13-minute mile, 14-minute mile. I'm running
super
with the
slow.
dog, super slow. I don't care. Strava be danged. I'm not going to make the local legend, but it's just the purpose of that workout is just to get my legs moving.
Yeah.
Like, what day was it? Monday. I did active recovery, 30 minutes bike.
Mm-hmm.
It helped out my legs a ton.
Yeah.
And then after Tuesday night track, my legs were trash on Wednesday. But I got out there, got 3 to 4 miles in, and I felt way better today just doing that active recovery of movement. Movement is key.
Yeah. So getting that blood circulating flushes out a lot of that lactate. It heals the body, brings nutrients, oxygen, all that good stuff. So it's kind of like the hair of the dog, So you do a little bit of activity that gets your body moving, and it helps your body recover much, much quicker. And so when we say recovery work, I think a lot of people don't realize that recovery work, yes, stretching, taking Epsom salt baths or, foam rolling or using the boots or, taking ice baths, that's all recovery work. But doing low intensity activities as well is recovery work. But not only is it, so it's like dual purpose. It's recovery work, but it also helps build your aerobic capacity. So in the running world, we call them junk miles. So they're just miles that we're utilizing for recovery or for aerobic capacity, but they're not like a specialized workout. But they really are. The specialized workout is specifically designed for recovery.
It's a kind of foundation, building that base as
for
well.
Sure. Yeah. So, so I guess as you're listening to all this stuff and you're trying to figure out, okay, well, how do I build that? How do I build a program? How do I, how do I structure my week from week to week to make sure I'm getting in like the key workouts? Well, I think first off, you got to have at least 2 strength focused sessions per week. And that could just simply be, it could be lifting. It could be doing sled push. It could be some HYROX movements mixed in, like we've been doing slam balls. That's not a HYROX movement.
No.
Right?
But you are exhausted from
But
them.
you use muscles you're going to be using in HYROX.
Yes.
Okay. And it's a great drill as well for like getting better at the skier, right? So there's some simulation to it there. So doing a couple strength specific sessions per week with some compound lifts, maybe some sled pushes and, deadlifts, things like that I think are important. You need to get in at least, depending on what your fitness level is, you need to get in at least 2 to 3 runs a week that are going to be focused runs. So a long run, maybe a speed effort or something like a threshold or interval workout, and then your compromise workout if you're going to do one, right? But you got to progress. So maybe in the beginning, you only do one of those.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then you need to probably have at least 2 efforts, whether they're running, riding the bike, skiing, rowing, that are simply put in there as a recovery effort, right? So if you've got 2 aerobic recovery efforts, you've got 3 runs, one of which is your long run that should be super slow and easy, right? So that's another aerobic effort. And then you've got another run that is, an interval or a specific like quality session. And then you have maybe a compromise workout. Well, that's 5 runs that you're doing a week. Well, if you put in like a bike session or whatever, well, that means at least out of those 6 days or 6 workouts that you're doing every single week, like 3 or 4 of those are specifically about aerobic capacity. And they're super chill and they're super easy and they're building your aerobic zone. So zone 2, zone 3, stuff like that, right? And then you could easily program in like an actual quote unquote recovery day where you're foam rolling or stretching or doing yoga or Pilates or something like that. And so when you look at it like that, that's not a ton of sessions overall, right? And I think as you build the load, maybe you might couple some hard with some easy, right? So you may work out hard in the morning and do an easy run or something in the evening, right? So as you build that volume, but in the beginning, if you had 5 sessions a week and, they're very key sessions, you should be able to get pretty fit pretty quick without having to lift weights every single day.
Yeah, and one thing with the weights as well is these sessions don't have to be 90-minute, 2-hour sessions.
No, for sure. And they shouldn't be.
That's some people get in that mind that each workout needs in. And I myself was like, sometimes this workout has to be an hour. And, we talked before, just do a quick 20, 30-minute lifting session.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, a couple key movements is all you need. It doesn't need to be, you don't have to throw everything in the kitchen sink of, every exercise and try to squeeze in an hour. Just, a few specific, a good core movement or core foundation like deadlifts, a set of deadlifts and a couple other exercises, and that's a good, overall body, work on any kind of, overall strength, any weaknesses. 20, 30 minutes. That's all you need.
Yep. And I think that's the biggest challenge with the hybrid athlete, right? Or the HYROX athlete is there's so many disciplines you feel like you have to get good at.
Yes.
Okay. You got to run, you got to be fast, you got to lift heavy, you got to push heavy, you got to carry heavy. You got to learn how to do all 8 of those movements. And then on top of that, you got to get hot. So that also means you need to be doing like heavy squats and heavy deadlifts and stuff like that.
I
Right?
thought he meant hot, like you got to get sexy hot.
That's what he does.
Oh, okay.
That's why you're doing the deadlifts. To
Okay.
get that BBL, right? So like, there's all these things, and they're like, oh, I also want to learn how to do handstands. Oh, and I also want to be able to do a pull-up. So there's all these different things you want to do. Well, there's only so much time in a day, and so I think in the off season, you work on the things that maybe you want to work on, you want to get good at. But once you start approaching the season, you have to do more event-specific activities, and that may mean you have to pick and choose, right? So when we're training for a marathon, the closer we get to the marathon, we start removing things that are not necessarily specific to like crushing our marathon. So we may take out a couple heavy lift days or something because our legs are just so tired from running. We may only strength train twice a week instead of 4 times a week. We may take away a bike ride or something. I don't know. We might take something away that is not as specific to the running just because we need to make sure that we are preparing for the event specifically. And so, if you understand that, well, then you realize that you don't have to be running and lifting heavy every single day. And every workout doesn't have to be a speed effort. Every workout doesn't have to be the fastest workout. You don't have to be getting a PR every single time. And you definitely shouldn't be doing freaking simulations every other day.
No.
And you're not expecting to get faster and better, And I definitely wouldn't even do a simulation within probably a good 4 to 6 weeks of an event. Like if you were going to do a full HYROX sim.
No, I would do a full one. I mean, unless you haven't done one before.
I still probably wouldn't do a full
I don't
one.
think I do.
No, not a
one.
full. I mean, maybe some of the station work. But
Yep.
No, I mean, yeah, it's just like you said, law of diminishing returns. It's you're just going to be beating up your body more, but I think you can get a lot more gain just focused workouts.
Yeah.
Than just the sims.
Yeah. So I think at the end of the day, strength training isn't really an option for anyone, right? Whether you're a runner, whether you're getting older, I think strength training is very important, right? Because it's the foundation that lets you truly perform your best, and it keeps you from aging. So strong runners usually are very resilient runners, and they're less likely to get injured. But strong runners or runners that also lift can be amazing at events like HYROX.
You just said a point about aging. I watched a 60 Minutes.
Okay.
And they had a doctor on there. I think his name was Dr. Atias, and he's here in Texas. And he kind of said he's gone to, he's taken like medicine, they call it like medicine level 3.
Okay.
So really all it was he is taking, it's supposed to help people like aging, and once they reach their latter years, like the decrease in people's functionality at 75 is just, it just drops down, it plummets. Yeah. And so his big thing is pushing for, not just the medicine, it is strength training like an athlete.
Yeah.
He had him doing the VO2 max, working on grip strength. So a lot of it, like the stuff we do, he was really pushing. I mean, he has a few things of like his cost is, they're like, it's over 6 figures a year.
Wow.
So if you come to BC, we're a lot cheaper than that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we don't, he had a few things of, like he had an MRI machine that he kind of pushed, getting constant MRIs and stuff like that. So some of that was high-end stuff, but the core of it was strength training like an athlete.
Yeah.
That was his kind of base selling point, not waiting till you get sick, of going into your latter years as strong, physically fit, with an aerobic engine as well. So I just found that kind of very interesting. I kind of laughed. I was like, that's pretty much what we do.
All the time, yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, I think the interesting thing is science is really kind of backing this up now, is that you don't see a significant decrease in performance as we age, specific to age. What you see is a decrease in performance based off of your training. So as we age, oftentimes people get less active. They're not moving as much. They're not lifting as much. Maybe it's because they're tired. Maybe they're, the motivation isn't there to be amazing anymore, to be super fast, or whatever it may be. But you don't see a major decline in the overall ability to perform at a high level. It's just simply, do I want to keep training like that? Do I want to keep focused? And so if you think of yourself as an athlete, if you train like an athlete, and you're finding these things to motivate you, I feel like there really isn't, a reason for you to not keep getting better, right? So, I mean, I'm 46 and, ran a 10K a couple weeks ago and I got a PR, so that I think if I ran a 10K in a couple months, I'll probably get another PR, so I'm planning on, hopefully, prayerfully, as long as I hold up my end of the bargain, get a PR in Dallas, for HYROX, right? So, I've been racing HYROX since 2021, so 41 years old, 42 or something like that. So I'm getting on the other side of 40 at the back end, right? You know what that's like, being out of it now.
I'm out of it now.
And so overall, should be slowing down, should be, things should get harder, should not be getting fitter. And I don't feel like that's the case. And I think a lot of it just has to do with progression, recovery, the base building, the foundation building, and treating myself, training, sleeping, eating like an athlete would. And it's really nice. Like, I don't know if this is a flex or not, but it's really nice going places, and being around other people that are maybe much, much, much younger than me and not feeling like I can't hang with them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like they are struggling to hang with me.
Yeah.
That's really nice because like as I was growing up, the old people, that was always their excuse. Oh,
Can't keep up.
I can't. It's like you should have seen me when I was your age.
That's, I mean, I'm sure in your 20s, how many people, at the gym? Well, when I was your age.
Yes.
It was like a constant when I was your age. And you know what? That was a big motivator for me. It's like, when I get to that age, I'm not going to be like that.
I'm not going to be like that.
Yeah.
I think that's exactly one of the things that I thought about as well.
I was like, because you've heard it so many times. And, at a point in my life, I was becoming like that. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I had to flip a switch.
Yeah.
And just, buckle down.
For sure. So I think that's one of the good things about doing stuff like this is that the strength training, the endurance, the aerobic capacity training, the mobility stuff, all of these things are things we need for longevity in our life to help us give us a better quality of life as we get older, okay? Anything can happen. We could die tomorrow, right? Things happen, but ultimately the quality of life we live kind of to an extent is within our control, our grasp, right? How we eat, the things we put in our body, the activities we do. And you don't have to train like we do. You don't have to be like have the intensity and stuff that we do, but just moving, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's several people that come to a lot of our classes that their whole goal is just to be healthy.
Yeah, they have no intent. Like there's people who come to the HYROX classes and they've told me I have no intention of doing a HYROX, but I like the training and I like how it makes me feel.
And so,
Good.
and some of them are in their late 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
And you would never guess that they were in their 70s just talking and looking at them. And they like to tell you, right? How many people that are up in age, like they want you to know how old they are.
Yeah.
That doesn't usually happen because most people are like, oh, I don't want to share my age.
No, we have one member who he loves to like let you know how old he is, but he will follow it up immediately. But I've done this.
So, and I think
lets you know.
that's a badge of honor. So,
It is.
I think it's a good example for the other generations and for kids and everything else. And so, my goal is to constantly, be as active as I can and be as fit as I can to be a good example for people, and my daughter and, everyone else. And hopefully, when I'm as old as Carlos or, when I'm 70 or whatever, like I can still be really active and maybe, I don't know, maybe someday I could be.
Maybe you could be HYROX champion in that 70s division.
I could be like I was thinking maybe I could have the world record for like the marathon or something at 70. I don't know, probably not, but or maybe the half marathon or something.
Maybe there'll come a year where it'll be like, and our oldest member on the course today, James Wyatt.
Right.
Wyatt.
Yep. That's it, right? And that wouldn't be cool now, but like
Not hoping for that now.
In a long time, that would be kind of cool, right?
Like
It'd be
30 plus years.
Guy's been crushing it for this long, so and still trying to help people understand that you can keep getting better.
Yeah.
I think the statement we say is like you may never be as good as you could have been, but you can always be better than you've ever been.
Yes. Fact.
Right. And so that just comes from smart training, consistency, and really developing your overall aerobic capacity. So hope that was helpful, guys. Hope you got something out of it. If so, please make sure that if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit us up on YouTube. You can rate the show as well, specifically on Spotify. You can go on there and you can rate and comment on Spotify. And if you're listening in other places as well, you can still rate that show. And if you are interested in supporting the show, you really enjoy what it is that we're doing, you can become a Patreon member. We give additional content, some cool stuff. I mentioned last week that we were going to open it up for a limited release, okay? So listen to what limited release means and understand. Limited means one shot. You only get one shot. Don't miss your chance because opportunity comes once in a lifetime. Do you feel me? Exactly. So I don't know if you noticed this sweet.
Oh, you're
jersey.
wearing it.
Look at that.
Can you show them back?
That's baller. You get the back jersey.
Oh, Coach James, look at that.
So this is Running with James exclusive. So it comes in black and it also comes in like kind of a tan color.
I like the black.
So we're going to be putting these out there, but I'm only doing it one time. Once we do this first one, it's over with. So if you're interested in getting one, let me know your size. Let me know you want the black or you want the tan. I'll pick a picture up on the Instagram page so you kind of know what they are. The shirts are going to be $70 a piece, but you won't have to worry about shipping or any other stuff. So custom with your name on the back. If you want your name, whatever you want on the back as far as your name.
Oh, so the number can change?
Yeah, well, the number is for
2017
when we started. But if you want to have a different number, just let me know that, right? So I need to know ladies, size, ladies or men's, size, and what you want it to say on the back, right? So if you want to put, I love Coach James, we could do that.
Coach James, number one fan?
Yep. Coach James fan, or Lauren's.
We love Coach
I already,
Carlos.
I already know what I'm going to put on mine.
Lauren-
I
What?
know. Stay feral.
So just, yeah.
You can order that one too, guys. Stay feral.
So if you're interested, I was going to put it on the store, but I'm not going to do that because I'm not going through all that trouble. I love you guys, but I don't love you that much. So here's what you're going to do. If you're interested in getting one of the shirts, just simply just email me, james@mybcfit.com. Let me know what color you want, what size, ladies or men's, and then what you want on the back of it. And then I'll send you a link over where you can purchase it, and we'll get those ordered for you. So it didn't take too long. It only took a couple weeks to come in, so you can be repping it in no time. So you can also check out some of our other gear if you want to support the show. Just by go to mybcfit.com. We have gear that you can get from hats, sweet hats, shirts. What hat am I wearing? No, you can't get
You're
this
wearing
hat.
the white hat.
This is a
Hey,
custom.
the camo run jerseys we wore. The
Legit.
white camo.
We wore them together and we didn't mean to do it.
Didn't mean to do it.
But
Yeah.
they're
Everywhere.
nice.
They're legit.
I like
I
it.
wondered if y'all coordinated that.
No,
It was very
it just
cute.
happened. It just happened. So, yeah, they're really cool, and they come in other colors too. They're like a lime green, red.
Yeah,
Those are all
I
different
just
colors.
tried that one. I wanted to see how it fit, and I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it worked well. It worked well. So I think that's the jersey we're going to use from now on with the new when we order the sublimated ones.
Okay.
we're just going to stick with that one, I think, because it's got a little longer length on it.
Versus the blue ones that can't. Yes.
Yeah, they're a little shorter.
Yep, I like those.
Yeah,
a lot
so
better.
so anyway, so you can check that out, mybcfit.com. And thanks, guys, as always, for coming in. Check us out next week. We'll be working still on this HYROX, getting into mindset and how to grind it out.
Yes.
So thank you guys for coming in. We appreciate you. Remember, as always, if you can change your mind,
You can
Change
change
your
your
life.
life.
peace out.
Bye.